So, Keith Lee visited this restaurant in California. Y'all seen that old ass nigga that be shaking them motherfucking ribs and that meat fall off the bone? Yeah. Keith Lee visited that nigga shit. And I think Keith Lee was like a fan of the old man. But anyway, y'all know Keith Lee has big influence. Let's let Flacco get right into it.
Me and my family are currently in Marietta, California, and this, in my opinion, is the most anticipated video I've ever done. In my hand is food from Destination Smokehouse, with the tenderism. My whole mission today to see, in my opinion, is the food actually tenderism, or do I just love watching Unc? Let's find out together. I got it, let's try it, and rate it 1 through 10. We spent $129.77. The customer service, my family said, was very good. This food was quick. It only took us 10 minutes to get it. And Unc is here, but Unc walk around with 4 different security guards, which I fully understand because people probably bombarding him nonstop. So I'm gonna show you the thing I got, and we're gonna try it and rate it 1 through 10. Holiday yams, mac and cheese, coleslaw, 2 orders of Texas toast, 4 sides of barbecue sauce, and a 3-meat plate. I got a beef rib, some oxtail, and some brisket. We gonna start with what I came here for, that beef rib. I didn't touch it, I didn't do nothing. This how it came.
He goes through the food review. He gives them, a pretty great score. The food tastes amazing. But it's the end of the video that's getting a lot of controversy. So at the end of the video, Keith Lee had about $4,000 he wanted to donate to Mr. Tenderism, right? This is an older black dude, who's been making content online. He's everybody's favorite grandpa online. Keith Lee wanted to give him some money. However, when Keith Lee went to give him some money, something takes place at the restaurant that makes Keith Lee leaves without actually getting the meat or give the $4,000 tip to Mr. Tenderism.
Sweet, cinnamon, a lot of spices and flavors, 8 out of 10. For me, the standout is absolutely the oxtail. But past the oxtail, the standout is Unc. Not only, in my opinion, is it extremely hard to get people engaged like that, to show your true personality, to be yourself, no matter how fast things take off in the space. I don't think he intended for it to go the way it's going. I think he just wants to show his love of food and his love of what it is that he's doing. I'm personally taking $5,000 out of my own bank, and we going to say happy holidays to Unc. So, update. We could not get to Unc. Security said it was over with for the day. They said that he was filming something. I believe he was filming a podcast. We had $5,000 in cash, or $4,000 in cash that we was gonna give him a hand. They didn't take it, so we're not only gonna take this money and feed some people, but we just gonna do what we feel like we're supposed to do in the community with. And as always, after this, I pray and hope that they continue to reach their target audience. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe.
The ending of this Keith Lee review sparked several uncomfortable conversations and think pieces. The first think piece was, oh, they too good to meet Keith Lee. Oh, wow, they selfish. They not as nice and wholesome and family-oriented as they are in these videos. Which, from my perspective, bruh, dude's filming a podcast. Keith Lee could have waited, or he could have, you feel me? Like, if he really wanted to, he could have waited until the podcast was over. I don't know. But the second thing is, this Keith Lee video kind of exposed something that a lot of people probably already knew. But the masses thought that this, the smokehouse was owned by the older black guy because he's been the mascot. He's been the dude in all the videos, pulling the bone from out the ribs, taste testing it. So people thought this was his restaurant, so hence made them want to support him even harder. But the Keith Lee video exposed the fact that this restaurant, was not owned completely by this older black guy, that is actually like a Hispanic restaurant owned by a Hispanic family. They are white passing, but they're not white per se. So people kind of felt hoodwinked, and that led to think pieces. And then once you couple that with, oh, he couldn't come out the interview to meet Keith Lee, they thought, oh, older dude is being dragged to do these, interviews and these several things for like a business that he don't own. He's being exploited. Conversations about proper compensation began to go viral. And essentially at the end of these discussions, people began to say they don't want to support the restaurant anymore because, well, Keith Lee Exposed is not black owned and how they treated Keith Lee.
Finding out that Tenderism destination was not black owned was not on my bingo card in 2025. Especially people that talk about, well, me, as somebody that talks about generational trauma.
Generational trauma because you think this man got a job is crazy. Yo, black folks like this will talk you out of a good situation, bro. Don't listen to him, man.
And reparations. For everybody saying, I don't see the problem with it. The fact that this man was able to grow a business is exactly what slaves did in this country. We picked cotton, we made the US billions, and then they gave us our freedom.
These people are ridiculous, man. Compare the 9 to 5 to slavery. First off, you don't even understand the framework of their working relationship. But let's just say he did have a 9 to 5. Don't listen to unemployed people online. They would have you crashing out and making bad life decisions. So let me get this straight. This dude, if he is a 9 to 5 employee, was a 9 to 5 employee before he came on the internet. Was a 9 to 5 employee before y'all knew who he was. Was they taking advantage of him when they was paying his salary and paying him to work and giving him a job before he became internet famous? Was it exploitation then? But it's exploitation because he's online working for the business and promoting it. I don't feel like this is exploitation at all. I feel like, yo, if he proved his worth, then you come to the table and you ask for equity where it is. But to say, because he's not the owner, 100% the owner, 100% is not his business, 100%, that they are exploiting him is crazy. Where was y'all at when he needed a job? If he could have found a better job than this, he would have had a better job than this before the internet. But the fact that he didn't, these were the people who took care of him before y'all knew who he was. But now y'all found out who he was. Now y'all want to give y'all 3 cents and have him turn on the people who had his back before anyone of you guys knew who he was. Y'all are out of your minds. Y'all are literally insane.
And now we're still fighting for reparations in 2025, while every other nationality that has ever been wronged in this country has pretty much received some type of reparation. If this man does not get his own business, I will know that this is set up by design, because I'm not trying to be rude. Other than owning the business permit and being a renter of that building, what does the owner do? I didn't even know there was a different nationality in that building as far as ownership or who could be working on something.
At Go Auto, we help you save more money on car insurance with no commission agents, no expensive add-ons, low down.
So part about giving Black people equity back is allowing them to have money and investments in things. And if all that man has is a job, I'm not okay with this at all.
They did an interview with Willie D so they could speak on everything, including whether or not he's an employee or an owner, as well as the Keith Lee situation. And I'll be real, bro. Yo, hearing these people kind of speak on this really made me feel bad for him, bro. Yo, because at the end of the day, man, they just running a business, okay? And if Keith Lee showed up unexpected, if Keith Lee showed up when they wasn't really expecting him, yo, is it like their obligation to treat Keith Lee better than they would treat anybody else and stop the podcast Ben had scheduled, I would assume, for a while now, and then leave the podcast to go cater to Keith Lee? No, because they wouldn't do it for anybody else, right? But because of that, they're now getting more hate than I think they've ever expected in life.
So really solid. We were like 3 weeks out from planning it, and a lot of hiccups happened. We were so late in the day, but when we were doing it, we were just totally locked in. So I found out at the end of it was only 30 minutes too. It was a 30-minute podcast. Mm-hmm. So at the end, our head of security / host, Josh, came over. He was like, "Hey, Nick, man, it's like some guy came and he was trying to meet Walt to give him a $5,000 tip." I was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird," because we've had like streamers come in, trying to like come in and get weird content. So we love the exposure, but we don't need weird exposure. So he took it and he didn't know. That was another shocking thing. Me, my friend Walter French, who's off camera, and then one lady who was working that day are the only 3 people in the restaurant who knew who he was. And I was in shock. I didn't even know it was Keith Lee until like 15 minutes after I heard about the tip. So as soon as I got the idea, I started messaging him, and I went out into the parking lot trying to find him. I was hoping he was going to be at our restaurant when we were in Hemet in our original location. I know who he is. I'm a food guy, and I'm on the internet all the time. I do all our social media, so I'm well aware. And it would have been a great boost to us in Hemet, you know? I figured he just never came because the level that we're at now, he likes to help out businesses that need more exposure, you know? So, but I would have been, if I would have known he was here, I would have probably asked Edie to stop for a few seconds so we could go over there. That's what I would have done.
This dude don't really strike me as like as a colonizer, if that makes sense, right? Like you could smell the colonizer blood and the spirit in somebody, but this ain't no colonizer, bro. Like this is not a dude that I would say is like a mean-spirited human being. Right now, he a little clout thirsty, right? He a little clout demon, but like he's not a mean-spirited individual from my perspective. But yeah, I don't believe that they should have treated Keith Lee any differently. But if y'all had a podcast going on, stopping the podcast with any means to go ahead and talk to Keith Lee when you already had him there, no, that's disrespectful. Finish up your podcast and then go talk to Keith Lee if Keith Lee is still there. But apparently Keith Lee being unwilling to really respond back or link back up with them or have any type of conversations kind of shows that Keith Lee is salty that they couldn't link up with him, and he's still kind of mad at him, which I don't know why, right? Yo, if they were filming a podcast, they were filming a podcast. Why are you upset at these people for filming a podcast, right? So they addressed the fact that, now after they got done with Keith Lee, they addressed the old man is being taken advantage of narrative, and here's what they had to say. The first person who actually brought it up was actually the old man before anybody asked about it.
And then we talk about this here, because just misunderstand, it's 2026. We gonna clear everything. Now, and back, I want to let y'all know something. I lived too long, somebody taking advantage of me. That part of taking advantage of me, there's a lot of things people can do in life. That's not something we do here at Destination. This is one in the nation.
Yes, sir.
I remember just like the same two people on this podcast right now, is the same two people know something about Destination. But see, the media just get off and run with the negative stuff, and I tell him all the time, don't be feeding into that negativity, because they ain't not just somebody trying to push, divide and conquer.
People want to know, like, Walt, you're doing so much to help this brand, do Walter have, ownership or equity in a Destination Smokehouse? Is that something that you can share?
Everybody's business ain't nobody's business. But this is how I put it out. And I'm telling you that. It's because it's my business. It's whatever, it's Nick's business. That sharing your business, all of this here, we just have Destination One in the nation. We on one kick. I can't get on sharing personal, how much money or this and that. I'm letting, okay, we cut this dude to chase. He's not taking advantage of me. We're going to be here until the end.
And as far as ownership goes, as much as I'll say, because I'm going to respect Walt's privacy, Walt is definitely a part of this business. He is not an employee. I would be safe to say that the finances that we have both been able to increase into our bank account since we've been here has been something great for both of us. But talking numbers, talking any of that, I just don't think that's professional. I mean, we're not professional athletes where our agents are putting our contracts out there.
From what I gather from that, it looks like, right, they gave the old man some equity in the company. The old man don't look like no dummy either. But what I would say, man, hey, my only advice to the old man, when you start talking to bosses, because I'm sure they probably own more equity than him, so they are still his boss. When you start talking to your bosses like, oh, we in this together until the end, oh, this is forever, this is never ending, that's usually when the exploitation starts. You don't want to have that language, bro, right? Especially with a boss, right? Especially in the workplace, right? Understand this, it's never personal. The minute these folks begin to understand that they could save a little more money or make a little more money with you not being in the picture, you will be out the picture. So understand, I want you to understand that. But for the most part, Dave has been good to you. Dave employed you. You've done well. Now you own equity, right? Like, have loyalty and have principles and integrity, but don't start talking about, oh, this is until the end. It's almost never until the end. It almost always have an expiration date when doing business, okay? But let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, bro? I don't like how these people are treating these people, bro. Just because they didn't stop everything they're doing to cater to Keith Lee. Now, I don't like that, bro. Let me know in
Man, I done heard it all, boy. God damn, boy. Black people funny as hell. Now you poor motherfuckers don't want to support the goddamn restaurant because Unc don't 100% own the goddamn restaurant. Then don't need nobody give a fuck if Unc ate, slept, shit, or whatever before he been going viral. Grandpa looking at you motherfuckers like, man, y'all better not fuck up my chick. Y'all better not fuck up my money. And just the nerve of some people. Did y'all see that girl, just that woman saying, just trying to make everything about reparations? Reparations? I don't know, man. Maybe Hellcat don't know, man. I don't think that shit ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Let that old man live. He go to work. He got a fucking check. What the fuck? If the nigga owns a part of that restaurant or not, it ain't your fucking business. That man is happy and that man ain't complaining. And the rest of that shit ain't your fucking business. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Who asked for it, right? This been another episode of Cat Got Your Tongue, right? Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for daily content. Follow me on all social media platforms. That's Hellcat, 3 T's, 501. Hellcat with a K, 3 T's, 501. And remember, love what loves you and take care of what takes care of you. And I'm out.